Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're heading back to the end dimension and I got a story to tell you on the way. You see, I thought this world was done for. We had some Windows 10 shenanigans that make it so our Xbox launcher that takes care of Minecraft, it's just not working anymore. That's okay because we installed the Prism launcher and that worked perfectly fine. We recorded a Techtopia video and that went splendidly. And then I started this one and recorded about 4 hours worth of, well, not 4 hours of footage, but 4 hours of progress. And I got to editing it and it was so choppy. And I think I spent like 2.5 or 3 hours trying to get it fixed last night. And I think we're okay, but we're not sure. So hopefully this looks okay. I guess we'll just have to see once everything's done. Alright, so we are going to expand our end island base stuff. So this last little while, we've pretty much just worked on the inside of the base, which has done us wonders. We have a storage system, needs expanding. I'm already running out of space and need to have more chests for more stuff. But yeah, I think I've settled on a concept for our end base here. So I want to make a whole bunch of platforms, pretty much the size of our main one here, varying in shapes, and then plot them around pretty much everywhere on this main island. So yeah, that's our first quest for the episode. So let's get to doing that, but just before so, maybe a little side quest is in order. So I was just attacked. I think what we're going to do is go ahead and try to spawn proof our main island here just by placing carpets everywhere. Alright, that should be better. Seems pretty quiet here now. It did take off some of our foliage, so it looks a bit plainer, but we can always go ahead and add more bushes and more decorations in later. At least we can do that safely. Now, I think it's time we get to work on the islands. Now, I know I said islands, but I got to like kind of planning that out a little bit to kind of get an idea of what it'd look like and realized how big the scope of that would actually be. In one episode? That's intense, dude. I am not a hermit. I have to go to school. I got work. So that's not happening. What we're gonna do is actually start off by making at least one island where that portal is over there. So the reason that we're starting so far away from our actual base is mainly because it's just kind of a pain using this portal to get back to the main end island and back to the overworld. So either using ender pearls to do that, or like trying to fly in but then smacking my face against bedrock, and that hurts. So we're gonna make an island up to pretty much the Y level of that block right here, or maybe this one, and we're gonna have a build enclosing the portal here. I think it's gonna make it feel a bit more official as a way in and out and look a bit cooler than just me smacking my face against the rocks all the time. Alright, there it is. I haven't put the carpets on yet. We're going to wait till we get our structure in place and then do that. Save a bit on time and carpet. But yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I was a bit nervous starting it because, you know, there's always that phase where it just looks really bad. But yeah, I think even just that is like an improvement. So let's go and inspect the island closer here. So what I did is I pretty much inspired the style from what we have going on here. This one's a bit bushier. I added some shapes to the front and to the side to make it a bit more interesting. Not so much the back. But we're not too fussed about it because a lot of this, if my plans do not change, is going to be submersed. This is already a bit easier to like navigate since we can land on the platform. And I think when we go through it, we should spawn on the moss platform. At least I'm really hoping so. Alright, let's try it one more time. No, it seems pretty consistent. So if we have a structure here, we should spawn here instead of like underneath, which I like a lot. And I feel like the end base is actually framed a bit better now. So I went ahead and started gathering the materials for the build, and luckily I had a few things already in stock in my storage room. I did have to go caving to gather some things. Notably, I'm low on redstone, which is surprisingly becoming a problem. So much so that I have like these desperation clerics hidden below my base to help out. Alright, well that wasn't too bad. We pretty much have everything for our first phase, because this is going to be built in phases. So we have our first layer planned out, which we're going to build, which is pretty much all the materials in these shulkers right here. But then we're going to have at least 2 more phases going through once more to do the interior, and then a final one for the details. The worst thing to gather is really the prismarine here, because I feel like there's nothing I can do to speed it up other than having another farm, maybe? I just gotta like sit there and wait, which I don't like, because I'm not actually playing the game. By the way, this is how I gather my black dye. Very dangerous, not recommended. I may or may not have died and lost my chest plate. But during our material gathering, we did manage to do that little trick where you get a skeleton to shoot a creeper, and we got the wait music disc. So, what you say if we pop this sucker into the jukebox and get to building? There she goes. Oh, you can't see it. There it is. There's our building. And if you couldn't read the title, then here's an indication of what else is going to be going on in this building. But I'm assuming y'all read the title. But if you can't read, then with today's video no, I'm just kidding. So yeah, here's the building. I actually cheated a little bit, and after the time lapse I went around, and you might have noticed that one of the sides didn't have any like lined details, as well as the back was just I didn't do the back at all. One of the sides didn't have any details like with the polished andesite to make up some lines, so I just did that to make it at least match. But like I said, we're going to keep all the detail work to the last phase, because we are probably going to add some knickknacks. I'm not sure what just yet, because I do like this building as is. Maybe it's something that we add on in later episodes. But here is the inside. Surprisingly massive. Something I noticed that I do a lot when building with Axiom to plan out some of these builds is I just like get going. And it's great. And then when I actually come to building survival, that's when I realized the scale of what I've just done. This place is pretty huge. So apart from the whole interior, one thing that we're gonna have to like keep an eye out for and work on with all of our builds is lighting. Especially here in the end, it's very, very dark. So it's very easy for everything to be kind of dim and like kind of washed out because of that. So we're gonna have to add in a lot of lights to make everything look nice. This here, there's a lot of heavy lifting on our base building. Actually, it's so intense that if we were to go and activate some shaders, oh, it's true. I'm on a new instance. I only have these two. Let's try this. That's actually not too bad. Kind of intense with the purples though, isn't it? What about the other one? Just colored lighting. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's kind of cool though. Kinda cool. But you see, like, the skybox is different, and in this building suddenly is a lot darker. I'm not gonna lie, this is pretty vibey though. This is pretty cool. Yeah, the whole place looks a lot more sinister with this on. I can't even see the Christmas Island anymore. What does our bunker look like with this? Oh, it's so like warm colored and orange. I'm having a hard time with frames. I'm assuming if I go back to the old village with this on, we're gonna have a hard time performance-wise. Pretty cool though, isn't it? I think we'll get back to normal though. Okay. Well, our portal room is kind of working. We're spawning on the roof now, which is not the desired effect. What do you? I don't know. I think I just have to deal with it. Is it gonna do that every time? Well, okay, so this is our new spawn point on the top of our copper building roof. Alright, so now we're here. None of this interior is actually planned out. I have no idea what we're doing going forth. Okay, there we go. That already like gives us a bit more structure, and I kind of thinking about how I'm gonna lay this out. I'm not quite sure. So what I'm thinking is we have these two pillars here. We're gonna have like something like an archway or something to reveal this room to us. And we're going to keep both of these sides open. The interior, we're going to try to add some decorations, but it's going to be mostly plain. Not just because I'm lazy, but also because, as you probably read, it's our copper building. More specifically, it's going to be our copper aging building. So we pretty much just need a bunch of free space to just like plop a bunch of copper down. All right, so we got this going on for our entrance, and I actually think it's kind of cool with the purple and the copper. It like gives a nice pop of color to an otherwise very gray build. So we've taken the portal and kind of transformed it into some kind of teleportation machine, and we might add some decorations later, but I don't know what to do just yet. I put in a map of our destination here, so we can probably imagine that this is a screen. And yeah, we got chests here with some ender pearls so we can get through. Just some paintings to make it look nice, and it's simple, but I think it's cute. And we have sea lanterns hidden up in these pillars here to light the place up. What I would like to do eventually is do some map art and like maybe replace this with some map art of some controls, but it's a bit beyond the scope of today's episode. So now we have to figure out what we want to do for the flooring on the other sides, and I just realized like this is slabs, so hopefully there's less spawns. But if we do slabs here and then try to place copper things to oxidize them, it's gonna look funny because it's always gonna be floating, which I don't want. And I like this pattern, but I think we're gonna keep this just for this spot and maybe some like other transitional spaces in the build, because if we're gonna be oxidizing copper, we have copper on the floor. I think it'll confuse my eyes a bit. We're gonna be, gosh. I'm gonna play that for you guys, how that sounds with the sound physics I've added. It's terrifying. Alright, so we've kind of planned out a little bit of the inside, and pardon my low nighttime voice. The wife is sleeping, so we're trying to not wake her. But if we come over here, I've honestly struggling a bit for the interior just because it's so massive, which, you know, I should have seen coming since I made the darn thing. But like I don't know what to do all in one go to fill it up, be like really cool looking. Plus, I don't think I'm going to be here all that often except for gathering the copper. So do we want to put that much effort into it? Well, I mean, yeah, but do we? Oh. Yeah, we do want to make it nice, but like It's a big undertaking all in one go. And this, I've been working on this for like 3 weeks in real life. I have made it usable, so we have our flooring in here with a bunch of open space, and we can get up to the second floor, just like so. We have a bunch of more space to actually just lay things out. The second floor here really shows that it's not polished yet, because I'm actually debating on if I get a third floor in up here. So yeah, we're gonna put a pin in it. We're gonna finish this some other time. Alright, so now we've gone ahead and added in a little path and some little flying docks, kind of matching the ones that we have at the Christmas building over there. And I think it looks quite lovely. I like the view of the entrance you get from here. Now I started designing some decorations to go on the outside, and I have some ideas, but I'm honestly just getting builder's block so bad right now, and I don't want to just wait. What we're going to do is I think we're going to put a pin into this project altogether with yeah. So the phases are still going to be coming. They're just going to be coming a bit later, and I think that's okay. There's no use burning out. What? But while we're at it, there is something I want to change. See how nice that looks? It's kind of putting to shame our actual base with these ugly stairs I made when we first moved here, before I had a full concept going. So we're gonna remove these, replace it by the same kind of sky docks that we have here, and I think it'll be cool, I don't know, in 100 episodes or something when we actually get to flooding the place. So let's do that. We just have to be a bit careful because there's actually a farm down here and I have mobs that I don't want to escape. Alright, there we are. Now we have cohesion. You know, it might not come across in the however many minutes, how the heck, we actually have gotten quite a bit of progress done in today's episode. Can I maybe not go outside? Okay. But our end base is becoming more so a base. Let's go and check our maps up here and update them one last time for today's episode. I've been doing it in the background. So go grab this. There we are with our sky docks. That makes a lot more sense. And there's our building. Funny how that comes out as normal Prismarine. And before actually seeing it on the map, I didn't notice just how big this build is. Look at it compared to our base. I thought the base was big. It is separated into two buildings with the bridge linking them up together, but still, this one actually is a lot bigger than my base. So if you made it this far, thank you for watching. If you have any ideas of what I could actually do to decorate this building here, maybe some knickknacks to add in, let me know down in the comments. I am curious as to what you might come up with. But yeah, thank you for watching. In the next episode, I really don't know what we're going to do yet. Maybe we'll be here. I'm thinking we go back to the overworld a bit and see the sun, but I guess we'll see when the time comes. Thank y'all for watching. Have a good one. I will see you in the next one. See ya.